Good morning, Wednesday morning drive-in. God bless you all. Praying for a good Wednesday for you and a good strong rest of the week until we can get to that glorious weekend. Wanted to say something about one of the parables in Matthew 13, which is the woman, or the kingdom of heaven is like unto leaven, which a woman took and hid in 3 measures of meal until the whole was leavened. And the whole, if you take the whole 13th chapter of Matthew, he gives about, 5 or 6 parables there, and all of them are very closely related to each other, and it's almost like telling one parable in about 5 or 6 different stories. They're all very close together. If you can interpret one, you can interpret all of them. And this one, the one about the leaven that the woman hid in 3 measures of meal, ties really closely into the parable of the tares and the wheat, and I'll probably do another one. That one's a little bit more detailed, but for the sake of time, just to move quickly, the woman here in this, I think this is Matthew 13, it's like 33 or 34. The woman here is a picture of the false teachers that were mixed in, intermingled in amongst that first century church. Some of them were Judaizing teachers, and then it also is related to some of the false teachers that I spoke of a couple days ago when I talked about the falling away of the church. This parable ties into the falling away of the church, or it talks about the falling away of the church. So the woman there is those false teachers. Leaven is a picture or a type of false teaching. The meal there would be the church, or the truth that the church had. And these false teachers, which you could easily see, this kind of has a couple different layers to it time-wise. Right off the bat, when Jesus is teaching, and he's really combating with those religious elites, the scribes and the Pharisees, and rebuking them for their misuse of the law of Moses. So they were teaching, one place in Mark 7, he says, you're teaching for doctrines, the commandments of men. So he really has some pretty strong language for them. He's accusing them of deceiving the people. You can read Matthew 15, Mark 7, Matthew 15, and Matthew 23, just to get a taste of the strong language that Jesus used to rebuke those false religious leaders that were not equipping the people with the truth of the Word of God. So they were mixing in leaven, or false teaching, with the Word of God, with the truth, with the meal. They were mixing in their own ideas. He said, you are teaching traditions and doctrines of men, or something that came from man and not from God. He asks them one time, I can't remember the address for this, but he asks them one time, and he's talking about the baptism of John. He said, is it of heaven or of men? Those are the 2 questions. Where did the teaching come from? And is it from God, or is it something that man took and twisted and perverted until it was corrupted? Man has a way of doing that. So if you fast forward towards the latter part of the first century, there's many places like in 2 Peter 2 and 3 and 2 Timothy 2 and 3, Paul's words and Peter's words about false teachers already being intermingled in and mixed in with the church. That's who they were combating with. And actually the whole epistle of John is about combating false religion, about false teachings about the Word of God. That's why they kept talking about, or John kept talking about, being an eyewitness of Jesus Christ and the words that he spoke, because there was people coming on the scene that were saying and teaching Jesus didn't really come in the flesh, that wasn't really him, and all these different ideas. So some of these letters and things were written to combat false teachers. So that leaven is something that was mixed in, and eventually, if you fast forward a few hundred years into the period of time that we call the falling away of the church, or the Dark Ages, the beginning of the Dark Ages, the whole truth of the Word of God was leavened with false teaching. So this is what this parable is talking about. Once again, the leaven being false teaching, the woman being false teachers, and she mixed in and corrupted the whole church with interlacing in false ideas about God and about Jesus Christ and about what is true and what is false. Last verse I'll quote is, I think it's 1 Corinthians 5:7, where he talks about the old leaven of malice and wickedness. That's Paul speaking that. All right, folks, once again, this parable, the woman that took leaven and hid it in 3 measures of meal until the whole was leavened, is talking about the false teaching which led to the falling away of the church. God bless you. Have a great Wednesday.